There we go. Oh, look at that. Isn't that good? Nkuhuma and Tinyo, again, by the looks of it. And then the third Birmingham is also here as well. So I wasn't going to come here, but when we saw that Birmingham striding this way that quickly, you can see the vultures all flying off. And there we go. Third one as well. Also greeting. Now, I'm not sure where the fourth individual is, but look at this. This is male lions at their best. There we go. Hello, boys. Now, I don't know where the fourth is. He must be around here somewhere. Maybe he's moved off, but I only see these three at the moment. Isn't it cool that we've got them all standing, though, and looks like they're going to feed off the carcass together as a group? Maybe not. Nkuhuma's decided, no, I'm not doing it. Oh, there's going to be... As this carcass gets less and less, so the greeting that we just saw now is going to start getting unfriendly. And it's Tinyo again. He's always such a grumpy lion at a carcass. He's... Okay, boy. I'm going to go forward here quickly just to see... so we can watch these guys. Now, unfortunately going to separate our vultures a little bit. They'll come back though just now. They're not going to worry too much. Does that smell nice, Senzo? Breakfast smells good. There we go. That's better. So it seems like Nsuku is the one that is not here at the moment. I don't know if Byron saw him earlier. Nkuhuma was busy disappearing in the background. Nena and Tinyo are the ones fighting. What's wrong, Tinyo? You've got something in your nose. You can hear him sniffing and sneezing. No, it's obviously got it out now. But I would expect for this buffalo to be done by later today. I don't think it's going to be around for much longer. There's Nkuhuma just surveying what's going on. Bless you, Tinyo. But how cool was that when they all got up and greeted each other? And Tinyo has now chased off Nena as well. Lisa and Matt, you're asking if the Birminghams have come together because other lions are moving in. No, so there's no other lions that are putting pressure on them at the moment. They've got really very little competition. The reason why they're together is for food. So they've managed to get themselves 2 buffalo in the space of 2 days, and that's been a tough task lately. There's been very few buffalo around, so for them to have found buffalo is always a special thing, and they have made the most of it. So the only reason they're together is because of the lack of buffalo in this area, and because they've managed to make kills, and that's why they've all come. As soon as this buffalo is finished, I'm sure we're going to see a split of them again, and one going in one direction, another in another direction. They're going to try and join up with different prides. But Nkuhuma is heading now towards Galago Pan. I'm sure he's going to go and drink that side. So we might follow him and go and see what he gets up to. Just now, you can see he's disappearing just over the ridge there. There goes his mane. And he's walking the exact direction that Nena walked yesterday to go and drink. Now, there's a male on a mission to go get something to drink, which is fairly typical. But Byron is with a lady on a mission, and I'm sure she's going to go and care for her little ones.
Well, we're hoping so, Tristan. I really am holding thumbs. Still, she hasn't stopped walking. She's still walking along this little path or road, heading hopefully straight to the den site. So both Sebastian and I are holding our breaths, waiting anxiously to see if she takes us to young cubs. This is all very, very exciting. Aegis, you asked how old would the cubs be at this point. I would guess somewhere around 3 weeks. I think, but I don't know. I have no idea when they were potentially born, but I think somewhere around 3 weeks to a month, perhaps. So still very young. Very, very, very young. Still very, very overcast this morning. Nice and cool. It's not too warm at all. Jake, you asked if there are any birds around us. There have been. I actually just saw a southern white-crowned shrike. Unfortunately, we didn't get it on camera, so I can't put it on the list. But there are a number of birds calling. There's some Cape turtle doves. We need to look for some more doves. I don't think I've seen the laughing dove. We need to put that on the list. So apparently our list is on 53 at the moment. I was very excited when we reached 50 yesterday. And like I said, we've definitely seen more birds than that, but the problem is getting them on camera is not easy. This lioness would also probably be a bit cautious approaching the den. Doesn't want to get or attract too much attention, so she'll be very cautious, very careful. Like I said, I think we just need to be patient and follow her carefully and now, Campy and Dee's mom, good morning. You wanted to know why these lions have black markings on their ears or black tips on their ears. So the two main reasons. The one is that if you have a look, watch her walking away from us now. If you just look at the lioness like that, look what you can see very clearly. That stands out in the brown grass. You can see that black tip of the tail, and you can see the black tips of the ears. So that is an easy way for the lions to see one another in the long grass when they're potentially hunting. So that's the one theory behind it. The other one that we know is agnostic behavior. Now that is aggressive behavior. It's known as aggressive behavior. And when this lioness is aggressive, if I had to get too close to her, what they do is they pin their ears down, but they pin their ears down in a forward direction. And what that does is that then shows those black markings very clearly, and she'll growl and snarl, and it's a sign of aggression. So that's what that is also known as, or known for. Oh, brown-headed parrot. There they go. Seb, brown-headed parrots. I just heard them. There they go, two of them. Well done, Seb. Well done. Now, we were speaking about the brown-headed parrots or parrots in general and what we see around here. And I said yesterday, we do get brown-headed parrots. They're here all year round. So hopefully we'll get to see them. And there they go. I just heard them calling as they flew over. See, it helps to know the bird calls, because then you can often find the birds. Now, hang on, let's see where this lioness is going now. She's heading off the road. I just want to listen, just to hear if she contact calls at all. No, nothing yet. Alright, we're going to turn off here too. Now, it looks as though she's heading towards a drainage line. Now, that is often a perfect spot for lions to hide cubs, in a thick drainage in an area not easily accessible. Now it sounds like Tristan is also in for a treat. One of the males is heading towards a waterhole and is probably going to go and drink. That'll be great to see. I'm going to follow this lioness, see where she goes, and let's head to Tristan quickly and see if that lion goes to drink.
Well, we are in for a treat because Nkuhuma is making his way slowly but surely down to the water's edge. So he's coming towards Gallagher Pan, and we should get a really nice visual. Now, I'm hoping he's going to drink straight ahead of us as he approaches like this. It will be perfect if he does, because we will be in the prime place to watch him as he goes about his business. But he is slowly but surely heading straight towards the water. Let's see now where he decides to end up. But look at that. Isn't that amazing to see the size of those paws? Massive paws. Are you going to drink for us right there? That's a good boy. No, he's just looking around, just making sure. He decides where he's going to go. So let's just reposition slightly so that we're right on the same level as him. So I'm just going to quickly reposition while he decides to take a few mouthfuls. He should be here for quite some time, because when lions have been eating buffalo, they tend to be quite thirsty. So somewhere around there, Senzo, what do you reckon? Is that good? I think so. I think that's a perfect place. Now you'll see he's going to drink standing up for a bit, and then hopefully he'll decide to settle a bit and drop that back down, and then he'll really get into it. Now we know that the Birmingham boys, we followed Tinyo the other day, and he drank for such a long time. So I wonder if Nkuhuma is going to do the same and have a record like his brother did. I think that Tinyo the other day was somebody tagged me in saying that he had been drinking for 7 minutes was how long he drank for, which is absolutely unbelievable. 7 minutes is a long time. But we were talking about how they drink at that stage, and for those of you that missed it, basically with cats, they don't drink like we think they do. They're not scooping water, they're using surface tension, and they close their mouth quick enough to be able to actually get the water in. So there we go. Senzo's showing you beautifully as he lifts up. The rough tongue has surface tension, and that pulls water up, and then they close their mouth quickly behind it. So they're actually not lapping up too much. So it takes them a long time to get a very small amount of water. Joe, you say you love watching them drink. Well, I think we're being spoilt this morning, because we're in absolutely perfect place to watch this, and it's close. It's a nice small pan, so they're not very far away, so we can get really beautiful views of our boy as he has a drink. And he's such an interesting lion for me. He kind of does his own thing all the time, and I always like watching him. He's got character, this lad. He's a nice big cut under his eye, just adds to all of that. You can see lots of scars on that face from times that he has had to defend himself from his coalition members. Charlie, wondering if this is a natural water hole or water that's piped in. Charlie, it's water that is piped in, so it's in front of Gallagher Camp. Now, Gallagher Camp is here for obviously the guests, and so there's a water hole just in front so that animals will come and drink. That's why they've got the camp here. And it's not uncommon to see camps with water holes in front. It's just so that when the guests are in their lodge, that they are able to see some of the animals coming down to drink at various times. So they do spend a lot of time in front of these camps, and it's a great water hole for cats to drink at because of its small nature. That chances of having something like a crocodile here is very, very slim, and so these guys will love to drink in a place like this because they don't have to stress as much as if, let's say, they had to go to a bigger dam like Chitwa Dam or something like that. So they like coming to drink here. It's also pumped fresh water, which makes it a lot better. Are you thirsty, my boy? Often when they feed like this, though, they do get very, very thirsty. You're wondering how many liters he would drink in one session? Well, they generally will take on about 7 to 8 liters a day, so you'll find maybe they'll drink 2-3 times a day, depending on how much food they've eaten and how hot it is. So I would imagine that in one setting they would probably take on a liter, maybe liter and a half. Not as much as you would think. Like I say, when they drink for this long, you think that they're drinking a lot, but the actual amount of water that's going in is very little. So I would say maybe a liter at the most in a session like this. You can see he is very thirsty though. I'm surprised he hasn't settled though. I'm surprised he hasn't put his bum down. It can't be comfortable to be sitting in that position. It's very awkward, and with that big belly, maybe that's why he's not put it down. He's just so full that putting his belly flat is more uncomfortable than actually standing like that. And blacksmith lapwing, not a lapsmith blackwing. A blacksmith lapwing that's arrived, not very happy about the fact that there's a male lion drinking at its waterhole. That's what you're hearing in the background, that tick, 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 tick. Oh, I think Nkuhuma's done now. I don't think he's interested in doing any more. You see he's watching because you can actually see some of the guests that are and staff that are working at Gallagher. They've walked out to see him, so that's why he's watching in that direction now. He's not too fazed by it. Come on, settle down. Put your bum down. You're going to be a lot more comfortable if you do that. Isn't this cool though to see? It's so very, very epic. We've been absolutely spoiled by the Birminghams the last few days. Now, there's super exciting news. It sounds like Byron has followed that female and has got the first visual of these little cubs, so let's quickly go across to him.
Look at this, everyone. Oh my word, I'm actually shaking. I am so excited.
Me too.
Hey Seb, look at that little cub that we've just found. This lioness has been kind enough to allow us to follow her back to the den. I can see we've seen 3 cubs, everyone. 3 beautiful little cubs for the first time. Isn't this amazing? Happy birthday, Megan.
Yeah.
Now, I've positioned, I've been hiding them in a drainage line. Now these cubs, you can see they are still young, but their eyes are open, they're moving around. So I think my estimate of about a month old is probably accurate. Look at that. And they're calling. Oh, they are still so young. Oh my word, everyone, this is just amazing. It's a bit tricky. Like I said, I've tried to keep our distance. I don't want to get too close. I don't want the lioness to feel threatened in any way. And again, remember I said this is very important for us to potentially have better views of these cubs at a later stage. How amazing is this? And what a privilege to be able to view them. Now, the lioness is... I will try to remove again if once these cubs settle down. But they're heading to... This lioness is lying...
Oh, she's got one, but oh, so cute. If we could be a little bit more to the left.
Let's just hold on. There we go. You can see she's lying just under that guari tree for now. Now it is a difficult view, everyone, but like I said, I don't want to move around too much just yet. And first allow them to get used to the sound of our voices and the smells. It's all new for them. So we do have to be sensitive. But I will reposition. I can move a little bit to the left, and I will shortly. Let me try, Seb. Hang on a second. I'm just going to try and move a little bit off to the left. Yeah. Isn't this amazing? Oh, this is really, really great. Even, Seb, if I go a little bit further back, maybe. Just off to the side. That should be okay, huh? Let's have a look. Yeah, she's still relaxed, she's still fine. And we'll be able to see these little bundles of joy, I suppose. Now, Ed, you say these little cubs look really healthy. They do indeed. They do. Oh, there we go. Look. Oh my word. This is amazing. I mean, you know what? We can't describe this. It's just watch and enjoy. All three cubs. Look at that. Well, everyone, you know, it's been an interesting few days. We've seen 2 buffalo carcasses. Lions have been feeding on the buffalo. It's not always easy to see lions feeding on carcasses. We found those lions on that buffalo carcass, but it's provided a lot of food for the lions, which is great. A lot of food for this lioness, and as a result, she's been able to come back and forth from this den. It's not too far from the other kill, and been able to feed the cubs. So that's a cycle in nature. So everything happens for a reason out here. Well, everyone, this is a first for all of us. Mr. P, all the way in Canada, you asked, what age do they start getting their vision? I think it's around 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. I think their eyes start opening properly, and they can see. If I'm not mistaken, I stand to correction, Mr. P, but I think it's round about there, about 3 weeks or so. That's what I say. I think these cubs are about 3 weeks to a month old. Oh. Better not squash the little cubs. But look how careful she is around them. Oh. And a lot of you saying I must feel so honored, myself and Sebastian, not just me, but myself and Sebastian feel so honored to be in this sighting, and definitely. Hey, Sebastian.
Of course.
I mean, this is really, really very special.
What a Sunday treat, eh?
Yeah, this is an amazing treat, and this is not something you get to see very often. To be the first one to come into a den site, to see the cubs for the first time, and you can see they seem very happy, they're playful. Oh, there we go. They're probably going to start suckling. Anna Marie, you say you love how fluffy they are. They are little balls of fluff at the moment. Oh, this is so special. But yeah, all three of these cubs look very healthy. Right, there we go. Looks like they've all managed to get a position to suckle. Sure. This is really, I mean, how else can you describe it? I mean, you know, is yeah, maybe let's try do a one-word tweet. You know, I don't think it's fair to try get one word to describe this, but maybe we can add a lot of your words together. So send us a one-word tweet of how this is making you feel, or what you think about this particular sighting. Hashtag Safari Live. Send us your comments. We really have had a great 2 days. Lions, leopard, elephant, buffalo.
Pure eagle owl.
The giant eagle owl. There's been so much happening. Oh, shame, she's moving. Where's she going? You can see the little cubs are getting upset. Why did Mom move? And again, you see, this is all part of... I mean, they are tiny. Look how small those little cubs are compared to that lioness. They look almost like they're just bigger than her paws. There we go. We should get a nice view from this side now, if she allows him to go back and suckle. Some hungry little cubs. Now, what I would suggest to everyone, and I'm going to probably chat to Tristan about this. He knows the guides in the area a bit better, but I would suggest a situation like this. We can potentially open this den site to be viewed by vehicles. However, I would suggest one vehicle per game drive, and only if they follow the lioness to the den. These cubs are still far too young for vehicles to come in here by themselves. So if they follow the lioness and she brings them to the den, then I think that would be okay. And maybe one vehicle per game drive, so there's not a lot of movement around. And so what I say per game drive, I mean so per either sunrise safari or sunset safari, one vehicle. So if people do decide to come, they need to be patient. They can't move around here too much. Don't want to just. You need to be sensitive in a situation like this. So that's what I think. But I'll chat to Tristan and see what they say. R. Lara Moore, one word tweets. You say treasure. Doesn't look like this lioness is very comfortable. She keeps moving. Tess, you say devotion. That's your one-word tweet. So treasure, devotion. Andrea, you say yours is blessed. Yeah, I think so too. Oh, Barbara, you say hopeful. That's a nice one too. Look at these little cubs. The grass is so long for them. Oh, she's moving again. Hold on a second. She lay down now. Oh, sorry, Seb, my head. I'm just trying to see. This little magic worry tree is just in the wrong position. It's in front of us, but I don't want to park the vehicle over it, because that I think is just too much movement for these, not just for the cubs, but for the lioness too. Don't want her to feel uncomfortable. Oh, look at that. Sebastian, can you think of one word to describe this?
Legacy.
Sebastian says legacy. I think that's a great one too. Lovely one, Sebastian.
Nkuhuma, yeah.
Legacy for the...
What's that?
Megan says she thinks that wins so far, legacy. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Seb, I'm just gonna try slightly. I'm just move back a little bit again, I think. Alright, now I'm just going to try reposition the nose down here, but while I do that, let's head back to Tristan and see how he feels about these new additions to the Nkuhuma Pride.
Well, Byron, it is very exciting, and I'm super happy that we're going to have new little lion cubs around. It's great news, and particularly because it's the youngest female, it means that she's at least been successful in her mating, and hopefully we're going to see lots and lots and lots of incredible sightings of those little ones. The good thing about them being here is that it means that she's going to keep her, at least, and probably a lot of the Nkuhuma Pride around this area. So it means hopefully we'll have far more regular sightings of the Pride, and those little ones will be joyful over the next few months. So hopefully they survive, and hopefully everything will be good. With the fact that the Birmingham males are still so dominant in this area, I think those little ones have every chance of staying with us and hopefully growing up just like the rest of the Pride's cubs have. Now we come back towards the carcass because Nkuhuma finished drinking and he's mobile straight back this way, so I wonder if we might see another greeting. You've got Tinyo still tucking into his carcass, and I'm surprised there's a lot of meat on this buffalo still. They're going to be here for probably, I would say, until tomorrow at least, but I wonder if all three of them are going to stay. I don't know, like I say, where the fourth one is, and Suko seems to have disappeared. Maybe he heard other lions calling somewhere and has gone to go and investigate. At the end of the day, they have been here for quite some time, so it's possible that they are going to go and check territory. Do you see him, Senzo? Is he there? Ah, there he is. What are you doing all the way in back there? Well spotted, Senzo. So he's also around, so it's actually all four are still here, which is fantastic news. It's always good when they're all together. Rebecca, you wondering if the Birmingham boy are all the same age? Don't think so. I think there's two different litters, if I'm not mistaken, within the Birmingham Boy Coalition. There was Insuku, who was a lot larger, or had a much bigger mane when they first arrived than the rest of them. It also looked like that the youngest male was the one that died, unfortunately. He apparently was the youngest of them. So I don't know if it was 2 or 3 litters, but I think it was multiple litters. They're not all the same age, but they're very close together. There's not much between them. I think it's about 6 or 7 months between all of them, so it's not very much at all. And so they all are, I suppose, of a relatively similar age, which is good news. It means that we don't have a very old lion that's going to probably pass away before the others. It means that these guys should all go quite old together, which is happy days, and hopefully they will be here for the success of the Pride. We need them to carry on being dominant within this area. But it's funny to watch Tinyo feed. He's now got a muzzle full of blood and gore, and he's just so grumpy around a carcass. He's constantly growling and carrying on, even at poor Neno just flicks his tail and he gets growled at. So it's quite interesting just to watch how he is around a carcass. We also know when the Nkuhumas had that last buffalo kill that he was the one that was the most aggressive towards those females in the evening and tried to push them off. So he's a bit of a grumpy lad sometimes. That's okay though. You need to be grumpy. You need to lay the law down if you want to be a dominant male lion. Sierra, you're wondering if the colder weather affects how well the lions can hunt. Well, it affects the lions in a positive way. Colder, overcast weather like this means that the nights are darker, and that is always good for hunting. So you'll find that they will hunt a lot more on dark, cold evenings. Also, during the day, like now, it's a lot more dingy, the light, and so the opportunity to hunt during the day is also not bad. So you'll find that sometimes they'll even hunt in weather like this in the early hours of the morning, late afternoon. There's a longer period of time that is more useful to them. So that's that will be the benefit to it. There's no really downside to it being cooler. You'll find that these lions are not too phased whether it's cold or hot, and they will move around whenever they want. But the overcast weather certainly helps. It's not so much the cold that affects their hunting. But it's just amazing how much food these guys can put in those bellies. Just see how distended they are. The other thing is to see how quickly they digest. That's what always amazes me, is you'll find that these guys will go from being like this to 2 days' time looking quite lean and muscular and as though they haven't really eaten that much. So it's an incredibly quick digestive process, and that's why they can feed as much as they do. So you'll find they kind of go in and out all the time, and look at that muzzle as it crunches up. Tinyo's really getting stuck into that leg now. Campy, you're wondering how long this carcass is going to be fed upon before it goes bad. Well, it's already starting to smell and to rot. As human, we would not be able to eat this at all. It's not fit for consumption for people anymore. But these guys will eat this as rotten as you can imagine. I've seen lions feeding off giraffe kills that were so rotten that the meat was almost going liquid. It was a green color and was going liquid, and they still ate it. So they're a bit on the manky side when it comes to that, but you know, if you're hungry, you're hungry. And at the moment, because of the lack of buffalo that are around, these guys are going to make sure that they maximize this meal, and they're going to eat every bit of it. But you'll also find that between the four of them, are going to start really tucking in over the next little bit. And that's going to mean that by tomorrow, I would imagine this carcass will look completely done. And I'd be very surprised if they're still here tomorrow night. I think they're in all likelihood going to be finished, and will probably then start to move off. Once they've decided they've had enough, all of them will start to disappear, and they'll go back towards wherever they want to go and check. I'm sure they're going to try and catch up with the Styx Pride, the Nkuhuma Pride. Maybe they'll even go as far south as that Kumbula Pride on Mala Mala, and the Tortured Pride in the north. So I think we're going to see a lot of splitting up of the lions. I can see Mfumo is just starting to wander in now. He's coming from the pan. Now you can see Tinyo does actually have a broken tooth, so I wasn't imagining it yesterday. His bottom right tooth is broken, so there is actually a broken canine in there. So I know a lot of you were telling me that he doesn't have a broken canine. He does at the moment. It's going to be forever broken, but it's not his lower left, it's his lower right one. Anyway, so that's just to update everybody and to make sure that we get updated profiles on our lions. I suppose it matches his name now that he's got a broken tooth. I suppose it's a good way that we called him Tooth then, with that big broken right canine. Right, I'm going to sit with these lions a little bit longer. I think I'm going to go down and watch Mfumo greet Nsuku, and while I do that, let's go across to Byron, who must be in lion heaven right now and is probably very happy to see the little cubs cuddling up in this cuddly weather.
Oh, I am indeed, Tristan. I am indeed. This is such a treat. But I can see this lioness, she's not very comfortable, not with us. She's just so full. So she hasn't been lying down for a long time. Then she changes position, and now she got up and is moving a little bit. They're moving around, these cubs. Look at that, they're calling. Listen to that. Oh my word. Let's see if she picks one up. Oh, hold on, let's watch. They're they've decided to move a little bit closer to us. They feel like they can explore now with the female around. It's amazing how trusting these little cubs are. As long as the mother is close by, not a fear in the world. It's moving back to the same position again. It's nice of her to be out in the open. Look at them moving through the long grass. Sorry, I'm trying to stay out the shot here. Now the cubs want to suckle, but the female, she's still panting heavily because she's so full. Isn't that a beautiful picture? Look, watch. She might pick one up. Have a look. Watch. Looks like she wants to move one. Come on. They don't want to be picked up. No, they just want to suckle. They want food. They want breakfast. Like this, Megan said. And again, just such a treat to be the only ones here to see this for the first time. Now, I know a lot of you can probably hear these little sounds, these squeals or squeaks that these lion cubs can make. Look at that. Oh, that is amazing. Oh.
What's your one word to it, Baron?
I'm trying to think, you know what, Sebastian, Sebastian asked what my one word would be to describe this. I think I'd go with, let me think about that a little bit. Precious. I think this is precious. Ginga, you asked how long after, or how long until she decides to move the den. Well, I'm trying to think. I've seen lions at about 3 weeks potentially move the den, not too far, but move the cubs to a new den site, and then at about 2 months, roughly 2 months, probably introduce them to the pride if there is a kill nearby. I wonder where she's going. Unless she's just showing them a little bit of the terrain around here. Rebecca, you asked at what age will we be able to tell the gender of the cubs? I think also around 2.5 months, Rebecca. And you'll probably be able to see if you look carefully. I think you would be able to then see. I'm just trying to think. I saw lion cubs, young lion cubs, in the Kalahari. When was it? Was it the beginning of the year or last year? Last year. And they were about 2 months old, and the one lioness went and fetched them and took them to a kill. They were between 2 and 3 months old. There was slightly different sizes. 2 litters actually. 2 females gave birth, 2 and 3 month old cubs, and the first time they were then brought to the kill, we got to see them. But and yeah, I think we could just tell, but it's difficult. You need to look very, very carefully. You can hardly see these little ones in this long grass. No, where's the female going? I'm just trying to think now, because I wonder if this is where she gave birth to the cubs, or if she had moved the den. Is this not the first place or first time she's moved the den was into this area?